Have you ever had that feeling, that prickle on the back of your neck that tells you something is wrong? I used to dismiss it, chalk it up to an overactive imagination or just a long day. But one evening, I learned to listen to that instinct, and it came from the most unexpected source. I was walking home, cutting through the older part of the city. The sun had already dipped below the skyline, and the streets were cast in long, stretching shadows. My mind was a million miles away, replaying a stressful day at work, thinking about dinner, about the bills, the usual noise of modern life. I was on autopilot, my feet carrying me along a familiar shortcut. This shortcut involved a narrow alleyway, a little artery tucked between two looming brick buildings. It shaved a good 10 minutes off my commute. I'd walked it hundreds of times, day and night, without a second thought. It was always empty, a quiet, forgotten passage. As I approached the entrance, I noticed him. A small boy, couldn't have been more than 7 or 8, standing right at the mouth of the alley. He was just standing there, as still as a statue, his small frame silhouetted against the deepening twilight. He wasn't playing, wasn't waiting for anyone, he was just there. I slowed my pace, a little annoyed. Was he lost? I wasn't really in the mood to play Good Samaritan. I just wanted to get home. I figured I'd walk past him and he'd move. Kids do that. But as I got closer, he didn't move. He just looked at me. His eyes were wide and serious, holding a gravity that seemed too old for his young face. I stopped a few feet away. "Excuse me," I said, trying to keep the irritation out of my voice. "I need to get through." He didn't answer. He just shook his head, a small, definite motion. "Come on, kid," I said, my patience wearing thin. "I'm in a hurry." I took a step toward the alley. Instantly, he shot his arm out, blocking my path. It was a small arm, but the gesture was firm, an undeniable command. "Don't," he whispered. The word was barely audible, but it hung in the air with incredible weight. I was taken aback. This was getting weird. I looked past him, down the alley. It looked the same as always. Dark, empty, with a single flickering streetlight at the far end casting long dancing shadows. There was nothing there. What was his problem? "Don't what?" I asked, a little more forcefully. "There's nothing there. Now, please move." He shook his head again, his eyes never leaving mine. "You can't go. It's not safe." His voice was so earnest, so filled with genuine concern, that it gave me pause. I looked down the alley again. Really looked this time. The shadows weren't just shadows anymore. They seemed darker, deeper than they should have been. The usual city sounds, the distant sirens, the hum of traffic seemed to fade away, replaced by a profound, unsettling silence that emanated from the alley. A chill ran down my spine. It was the same prickle I'd felt before, but 100 times stronger. My mind was screaming at me that this was ridiculous. It was just a kid, probably playing a game, but my gut, my instinct, was telling me to listen. "Why?" I asked, my voice softer now. "What's in there?" The boy didn't answer. He just stared into the alley, his expression unreadable. He seemed to be looking at something I couldn't see, something hidden in the deepest part of the darkness. The flickering streetlight at the far end seemed to pulse, and for a split second I thought I saw a shape move within the shadows. It was quick, a fleeting distortion like a heat haze on a summer road, but it was enough. My heart started pounding in my chest. All the stories you hear, the warnings you ignore, they all came flooding back. The city has its dark corners, its forgotten places where bad things can happen. I had always been lucky, or maybe just oblivious. I looked at the boy again. Who was he? An angel? A ghost? Or just a kid with an intuition so pure and powerful it could stop a grown man in his tracks? It didn't matter. In that moment, I trusted him more than I trusted my own logic. "Okay," I said, taking a step back. "Okay, I'll go the long way." The relief that washed over the boy's face was instantaneous. The tension in his small shoulders eased, and the gravity in his eyes softened. He gave me a small, almost imperceptible nod. It was a nod of thanks, of understanding. I turned and started walking away, my feet moving much faster now. I didn't look back. I didn't want to. I walked the long way home, my mind racing. I kept my eyes on the brightly lit streets, sticking to the crowds, the noise, the safety of the known world. When I finally reached my front door, I was shaking. I fumbled with my keys, my hands unsteady. I couldn't shake the image of the boy's face or the feeling of that oppressive silence from the alley. What was in there? What had he saved me from? I'll never know the answer. I never saw that boy again. I even tried going back a few days later in the bright light of midday. The alley was just an alley, empty. Normal, but I never used it as a shortcut again. I never will. That encounter changed me. It taught me that there are things in this world we don't understand. It taught me to listen to that little voice, that primal instinct that screams of danger. Sometimes protection comes in the most unexpected forms. A whisper, a gesture, the unwavering gaze of a child standing guard at the edge of the shadows. We live in a world that demands logic and reason, but sometimes the most logical thing you can do is trust the unexplainable. Pay attention to the signs. Listen to your gut. And if a small child ever tells you not to go down a dark alley, for goodness sake, listen to them. It might just save your life. Thanks for watching. If you've ever had an experience like this, something you can't quite explain, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Stay safe and don't forget to subscribe for more stories.